Breaking news tonight, Red Sox have fired manager Alex Cora. Dan Roche now joining me. And Dan, what's your reaction to the news tonight?
I think the timing was unusual, Joe. I think that's the strangest part of this whole thing. There had been talks and speculation, perhaps, that because this Red Sox team was playing so poorly, that perhaps Alex Cora could be the man to be let go to try to shake them up. We've seen that time and time again as far as managers go. Sometimes, not their fault. They'll let go to try to shake things up. But in this situation, I think with this team, man, it's like everything's been set up. They expect to win the World Series. They're trying to win the World Series. 9-17, had tough times with the Yankees. But then to come in here after a big win, a 17-1 win over the Orioles. If they had fired him on Friday night, I think you might have said, okay, because Brian Bale got lit up for 5 home runs. It was a disaster from start to finish. Then maybe we would have thought that. But to have it happen now, and to have 5 of his coaches let go with him, Jason Varitek reassigned as the game planning coordinator. Just kind of a lot of moving parts here. John Henry, we saw, is down there in Baltimore with Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow. It's just a very strange thing that, it's not shocking. I think it's shocking in when it happened and how it happened. But now you just kind of breathe and figure out what the heck happened.
Yeah, and right, as you mentioned, it comes after a 17-1 win, and this team has struggled offensively, really all season long. So just to recap the coaches that were fired alongside Alex Cora: hitting coach Pete Fatse, third base coach Kyle Hudson, bench coach Ramon Vasquez, assistant hitting coach Dylan Lawson, and then major league hitting strategy coach Joe Cronin. These are Alex Cora guys, and they're the ones that let go. And then meanwhile, you have guys like Andrew Bailey, pitching coach. That is a Craig Breslow hire that does stick around. What kind of message do you think this is sending across the organization?
I think it's a results type of firing, right? Because if you look at what Craig Breslow did, he was hired to bring in pitching and improve the pitching, and we've seen that. They sign, a guy like Ranger Suarez to a big contract when maybe Alex Cora and some of the other players were looking for hitters. Bring back Bregman or sign to Pete Alonso. So they sign him. They bring in Sonny Gray, more pitching, and Andrew Bailey still remains. And the problem so far with this team, a lot of it has been, well, when the starters don't go more than 6 innings, they lose. When they go 6 or more, they win. That's part of it. As far as hitting is concerned, they haven't hit in the clutch. They've been abysmal as far as the team trying to generate runs. But a lot of people thought it was not a good offense to begin the season.
Yeah.
So a lot of mixed results here. Ownership may be fed up with it. And to me, it's a tough day because basically no matter what, you're bringing in Chad Tracy, who's a good baseball man, but he doesn't have an experience. It's a big market here. And Alex Cora is one of the best managers in baseball. Ask anybody. One of the top 5. So don't be surprised if he's quickly maybe hired by somebody. Maybe Dave Dombrowski goes back for him again, whom he won a championship with here in 2018.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting part of it, too, is he has so much respect around Major League Baseball. I mean, he had 620 victories. That's 3rd in franchise history. But the team is 10-17 to start the year. I think what's really interesting, too, Dan, is that this is the first time under this ownership group that they have made an in-season managerial change. I mean, it's not as if this is the first season where things have gone sideways to begin a year. You think about Bobby Valentine. He had an entire 2022, even during that year. So what do you think it was about this year specifically and the way things have started that the ownership group and then Craig Breslow and the front office are making the change at this very moment?
I think a part of it might be the whole analytics thing too, Joe. That might be in the background here that they feel like this team on paper, how many times did we talk about that in spring training? Fangraphs and other places have said they should produce this amount of runs with this lineup. I think Alex Cora, he would tell you in a heartbeat, he wants major league players. Guys, that's why he stuck with guys like Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro, guys that he thought knew how to play the game, give you professional at-bats, and help you win. And he wanted Alex Bregman here because he was that sounding board for the younger players. So he knows he's in that dugout every single day, wants to win that way, whereas the analytic people say, well, with this lineup, this guy should do this, 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 and this. I think that's part of it. So that might have been a little bit of a friction. He wasn't Craig Breslow's guy. Breslow was brought in here, so maybe that's part of it too. I think Alex might have been frustrated at the fact that they didn't sign some big-name free agents or trade for some players at the trade deadline that could have helped him maybe get over that hump a little bit more. So I think it was kind of maybe one of those things. And again, 8 years is a long time to be a manager of the Red Sox. He's gone through a lot here in Boston. So I think maybe they just felt like, we're going to have to shake this up because, let's face it, there was a real bad feeling around the city after they got swept by the Yankees.
Yeah, obviously a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And the way it happened, too. They offensively, they only scored 3 runs in that series. And then you saw some of the issues with the roster construction in that final game. I mean, only scoring 2 runs. And then Danny Coulomb comes in a big spot, in the 7th inning of that game. And this bullpen has been short some arms. I think what's been really interesting is hearing Alex Cora now in the more recent post games that he had before the news today, talking about how this is a young group and how he's had to do more coaching than he has in years past, just because it is a young group. There's so many guys that are being really relied upon, for the first time in a full season or a full second season. What do you think of the roster he was given?
I think he was very surprised, Joe. I think that, all these prospects that are coming his way, from Roman Anthony to Marcelo Meyer, I thought maybe he thought that they should have been a little bit more mature, a little bit more baseball ready, and helped to play on the big league level. And I think maybe that might be part of it, too. The communication that he had to have with them, and the constant communication, as opposed to holding their hands through all these tough times, as opposed to when he was playing, it was just let's go out there, play, do your job, and here we go. I think that might have been part of it, too. So maybe they're looking for a guy like Chad Tracy who knows these players and maybe can relate to them a little bit more. I think that might have been part of the thing, too, here. But at the same time, I think Alex Cora realized that, every year is different, and it's going to take time to build a chemistry. Despite the chemistry and the good feelings they had when they went into New York and took on the Yankees and got into the playoffs, and there were a lot of positives to take from that, I think he also realized that, we're off to this tough start. I can't just say, here, go. I got to hold their hands a little bit more. So, again, that comes down, and you see it all the time. Chemistry is different. Every team is different. So they were trying to develop that, too, on the fly, yet also win. So I think a lot of it added up to, hey, it just didn't work. And I think John Henry, who's been there at every single game, for most of the games there this year, just sat there and said, you know what, this isn't working. It's not working. And we got to figure out how to fix it. And as you know, in the game of baseball and most sports, it's hard to change the players. It's easy to fire the manager and try to get a spark. So for me, I'm sad because I know how much Alex Cora embraced this city. His partner, Angelica, just ran the Boston Marathon on Monday. He was so thrilled to be able to watch her finish, so proud of her. And I think he embraced everybody in the city. Loved to talk. He's one of those guys that you could just sit anywhere with and talk the game of baseball. And I think it's tough. I've got to know him. I knew him as a player when he was here. We did a lot of features together that aired on our Red Sox show here on WBZ and TV 38. And I'm going to miss him. I loved everything about him. He just oozed enthusiasm for the game and was a smart manager. And I always say he's one of those guys, we've talked about this too, Joe, is that you take baseball managers, what separates the great from the good. Give me Alex Cora in the postseason, anytime, anywhere, and you have a chance to win a World Series. He's that good, especially as the series goes on, move for move with the opposing manager, with what you have to do to put your team in place. We saw it in 2018 when they pulled out that World Series championship.
I don't think any manager was hotter than Alex Cora was in that 2018 run and the great teams that they beat in that stretch. And this is what I wanted to just hit on with you as we talk about this. How do you think fans will remember the Alex Cora era?
I think it's pretty easy. Well, they'll remember it for 2 things. The whole cheating incident, unfortunately, came and happened. He admitted it. What happened in Houston, it was certainly a black eye for everybody in the game of baseball, for him and his family and what have you. But he served his time, his suspension. And then they'll most importantly remember the 2018 World Series team that won. Maybe the greatest team, single-season team in the history of the Boston Red Sox. And again, what they were able to accomplish, they just ran through that regular season and then got through that postseason as well and beat the Dodgers. I think they'll remember Alex Cora for winning a World Series championship, like they remember Terry Francona, what he was able to do here, too, as manager of the Boston Red Sox.
And I'm glad you brought up that name. We were talking about it before we hopped on. It's interesting that position, being the manager of the Boston Red Sox, and how tough this market can be sometimes. And maybe that idea of a shelf life. Even when Terry Francona got to the end, he alluded to the fact that in that collapse in 2011 that maybe my message wasn't getting across. Who knows if that's actually the case with Alex Cora, but I think he had a good run. I think what also people will remember about this era is the trading away or the players that left in free agency, the franchise guys. Mookie Betts, obviously, after the first 2 years that Alex Cora was here. Then they let Xander go. And then, of course, the Rafael Devers trade last year as well. So a lot of change in that run. The final thing before we let you go here, Dan, Chad Tracy obviously taking over here on the interim basis. He's a guy that's been there with the Woo Sox for 5 years. He's done a really nice job. There's been a lot of noteworthy players that have come through Worcester to make their way into Boston. But what do you think it says right now about where the organization is at, that they have somebody like Chad Tracy taking over a team that coming into the season had championship aspirations?
Well, I think they look at him as stability, right? I think they like everything that he did down in the minor league level, the way they handled players. We saw with Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, all these players that have come through have loved playing for Chad Tracy. They said he's a very good communicator. He's very calm. Just kind of go about your business and get it done. So it's going to be different than Alex Cora. But again, he's going to have to learn on the fly. It's not going to be easy for a guy like Chad Tracy. Ironically, Saturday night, he won his 499th game as a minor league manager. When he sees that 500th win, we won't know for a long time. The Red Sox will probably try to give him a chance here and see what he can do. And he's a guy who's talked openly about it too, is that he's known Alex Cora since he was a kid. His dad played with Alex Cora, and he loves Alex Cora. So he's got to step into a difficult situation here, but maybe just a different voice, maybe just a different vibe. Maybe the expectations go a little bit lower with Chad Tracy, and then maybe the players take more responsibility. Maybe they can pull out a way to turn this franchise around. Because let's face it, Joe, now that Alex Cora is gone, it's on the players. And if the players don't figure it out, it's going to eventually end up on Craig Breslow because he's the GM. But right now, everything is on the players. You guys figure it out. And if you get going here, they can turn this season around in a hurry, which they have to do because, let's face it, they're 7 games below 500 as we leave the month of April coming up soon.